Welcome to the YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub, your one-stop solution for expert guidance, best practices, and actionable knowledge in the world of contact centers. Explore, learn, and enhance contact center skills. Welcome to this section, where we'll explore how first response time connects with other critical contact center metrics. FRT is not just a standalone number, it's a central lever that influences performance across the board. When it improves, service levels strengthen, abandon rates drop, occupancy balances out, and customer satisfaction rises. But when it slips, the ripple effects can be felt immediately in costs, efficiency, and loyalty. In this session, we'll use a correlation map to see how FRT ties directly to SLA, CSAT, AHT, abandon percentage, and occupancy, giving us a clear picture of its true business impact. Let's begin by looking at the direct correlation between first response time and service level. Here's the correlation. When FRT is longer, service level compliance drops. Every minute of delay pushes more interactions outside of SLA thresholds, creating breaches. On the other hand, when FRT is faster, SL adherence improves, ensuring that we consistently meet or even exceed contractual and internal benchmarks. Now let's bring this to life with an example. Imagine a contact center with an SLA of 80/20ths, meaning 80% of interactions must be answered within 20 seconds. When FRT averages just 3 minutes, the SL compliance still holds strong, around 85%. But if FRT stretches to 10 minutes, SL compliance collapses, falling to 60%. That's a 25-point drop, and it's not just a number, it translates to penalties in outsourcing environments, reputational damage, and dissatisfied customers. The key takeaway is simple: FRT is a critical driver of service level performance. Keeping it short not only improves customer experience but also protects SLA adherence and ensures consistent service quality. Now let's look at how first response time links directly to customer satisfaction and Net Promoter Score. The correlation is clear. When FRT is long, customers feel ignored or undervalued. Even before their issue is addressed, the delay creates frustration, anxiety, and in many cases, disappointment with the brand. This drives CSAT and NPS scores down, and if it becomes a repeated pattern, it erodes loyalty over time. On the other hand, when FRT is short, customers feel acknowledged almost instantly. A quick first reply sends a powerful message: your concern matters, and we're here for you. That reassurance builds trust, enhances satisfaction, and increases loyalty. These customers are not only more likely to stay but also more likely to recommend the brand to others, lifting both CSAT and NPS. Here's an example to illustrate. When FRT averages 2 minutes, CSAT sits at a healthy 90%, customers feel valued and cared for. But when FRT rises to 8 minutes, CSAT drops sharply to around 70%. That's a 20-point decline driven by response delays alone. The insight here is powerful. The very first moment we acknowledge a customer can define their entire experience. Faster FRT means stronger trust, higher satisfaction, and greater long-term loyalty. Next, let's explore how first response time connects to average handle time, or AHT. The correlation works like this. When FRT is long, customers arrive at the interaction already frustrated. By the time an agent finally responds, emotions may be running high. This often leads to escalations, longer conversations, and more effort to calm the customer down, which pushes AHT higher. In other words, the delay upfront makes the resolution process more complex and time-consuming. By contrast, when FRT is short, customers feel acknowledged right away. That early engagement lowers frustration, sets a positive tone, and allows the agent to move quickly into resolution. The result is a smoother, more efficient interaction with a stable or even reduced AHT. Here's an example to illustrate. With an FRT of 2 minutes, the AHT is about 400 seconds. Customers are calm and the conversation is efficient. But with an FRT of 9 minutes, AHT increases significantly to 520 seconds. That extra 2 minutes per interaction, scaled across thousands of calls, adds substantial cost and strain on operations. The takeaway is clear: improving FRT doesn't just reduce wait times, it streamlines the entire customer journey, prevents escalations, and keeps average handle time under control. Now let's examine how first response time impacts abandon percentage, or AB%. The correlation is straightforward. When FRT is high, customers lose patience while waiting for an agent's first reply. Many will drop the call, close the chat window, or exit the interaction altogether before ever being acknowledged. This drives up the abandon percentage and leaves customers with a negative impression. On the other hand, when FRT is low, customers are reassured almost immediately. A quick first response signals that help is on the way, keeping them engaged and far less likely to abandon the interaction. This not only improves the customer experience but also ensures that fewer opportunities for resolution or sales are lost. Here's an example to highlight the impact. With an FRT of 12 minutes, abandon rates can climb as high as 18%. That's nearly 1 in 5 customers leaving before receiving help. But when FRT is reduced to 3 minutes, abandon rates drop significantly to just 5%. That's a massive improvement in retention and customer trust. The key insight is this: abandon percentage is often a mirror of FRT performance. Faster first responses keep customers engaged, reduce churn, and preserve opportunities for resolution and revenue. Finally, let's look at how first response time is tied to agent occupancy. Here's the correlation: when occupancy levels are too high, let's say above 90%, agents are overloaded. They're juggling too many interactions, queues are stretched thin, and customers wait longer for that first acknowledgement. The result is a slower FRT, even if agents are working at full capacity. By contrast, when occupancy sits at an optimal range, around 80 to 85%, workloads are balanced. Agents are busy but not overwhelmed, which means they can pick up new interactions quickly. This balance keeps first response times healthy while maintaining productivity. Let's bring this to life with an example. At 95% occupancy, the FRT spikes to around 9 minutes because agents are stretched beyond their limit. But at 82% occupancy, the FRT drops to just 3 minutes. That difference directly impacts customer satisfaction, service level compliance, and operational flow. The key takeaway is that higher occupancy isn't always better. While it may look efficient on paper, it often comes at the cost of slower FRT and poorer customer experiences. The sweet spot lies in balancing agent productivity with availability to ensure faster first responses. Now let's explore how first response time connects with first call resolution, or FCR. The correlation is straightforward. When the first response is slow, customers are more likely to escalate their issue or call back again because they've already lost confidence in the interaction. These repeat or unresolved contacts drag FCR down and add to overall workload. On the other hand, a quick first response creates an opportunity for early issue detection. The faster the agent engages, the sooner they can clarify the problem, reassure the customer, and work toward a resolution. This momentum significantly improves FCR rates. Here's a simple example. With an FRT of 2 minutes, FCR is strong, around 85%. That means the majority of issues are solved in the very first interaction. But when FRT stretches to 10 minutes, FCR falls sharply to 70%. Customers lose patience, repeat contacts increase, and efficiency suffers. The lesson here is clear: FRT sets the stage for resolution. The faster we acknowledge the customer, the greater the likelihood we can resolve the issue on the very first attempt, improving efficiency, satisfaction, and loyalty all at once. Lastly, let's connect first response time directly to financial performance, because every delay has a cost. When FRT is high, the consequences are immediate and expensive. SLA penalties may be triggered in outsourced environments, eating into margins. Sales opportunities slip away when customers abandon before an agent responds. And repeat contacts increase, driving up call volumes and inflating operational costs. In short, slower FRT erodes both revenue and efficiency. On the other hand, when FRT is low, the financial picture looks far healthier. Faster responses mean better CSAT scores, stronger customer retention, and fewer recontacts. All of this reduces cost per call and improves overall efficiency. And in sales or upsell scenarios, quicker responses protect revenue and often unlock new opportunities. The key message is that FRT is more than a service metric, it's a financial lever. By reducing delays in that very first response, we not only improve customer experience but also cut costs, protect revenue, and create long-term business value. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next video.